welcome to another episode of Pop Culture Minefield. And now, thank God it's Friday. Hey guys, welcome to another TGIF. We've got an interesting panel today. Two friends of mine that have joined us for the first time. I'm hoping Tevin will also be like Kieran and become a regular panelist on the show because it's so much fun. But we, of course, got the always reliable Zach's directing the episode there in the middle. And we've got Viking out of time from the UK here as well. Welcome to you all.
Thanks for having us. For having me, for sure.
Thank you, guys.
And eventually my partner Keith will show up. But as I've said, he will be late to his own funeral. The guy is, I don't think he's been on time for a damn thing. Not one thing. I can't think of a single time he's ever been on time since I've known him. But I love him. And when he gets on the show, man, he really does make it interesting. But I have some videos that I want to show during this episode, which are the released by the DoD and the U.S. Navy videos. Well, they're released by the Navy, and I'm trying to think of the phrasing here. They were confirmed by the Department of Defense.
Oh, those UFO videos.
Yes,
okay.
The TikTok and the top one, the one that just was doing weird turns in the air and had the pilots aviators truly confounded as to what the hell am I looking at? Look at that thing go! It's like, because at one point it was going close to, I think they said 20,000 miles per hour when it left, and there's nothing on earth that can do that and have anybody live. And because we have to, every time you move at a certain speed, you get a G, and a human being can't survive past, I think it's 7 Gs, which is pretty much how fast we go when we send our astronauts into space, about 7 Gs. And you can't stay at it very long. Unconsciousness will occur after a few minutes of it. But this week, I want to go over to some big news. Kieran, is there anything in particular from Geekosity you want me to focus on? And by the way, Kieran is one of the writers over at Geekosity magazine, one of my many friends over there at that wonderful mag.
Yes, the editor-in-chief, Mikey Sutton, who we all know, has given me a scoop to tell everyone.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, let me change the logo. Hold on. Let me change the logo. I love doing this. Are you ready? Here you go. Boom. Look at that. Great corner. Geekosity News. Go for it, buddy.
All right. Let me just get it up. Bear with me. Okay. So he has shared with me some characters who will be appearing in Avengers 5. So we will see Shang-Chi, Moon Knight, Daredevil, and She-Hulk join the team.
Nice.
Did you hear that, Keith? Keith?
Yeah.
Did you hear what Kieran said?
Well, I heard a bunch of names.
So basically them lot are going to be appearing and joining the Avengers in their next film.
That's going to be awesome.
I'm without a doubt excited to see Daredevil again. I mean, I love that show so much. I mean, it is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
Charlie Cox is just a legend.
Have you guys seen all the stuff they're putting on Netflix nowadays? It seems like movies are going up left and right.
Well, that's because Netflix doesn't have much of anything. Unlike even CBS, Netflix is not something that is attached to a studio. They do not have an entire library of stuff to choose from. So they have to create all their content. Realistically, if every studio in town decided tomorrow to pull all their content and not let Netflix have it, they would be in a world of hurt. That's the reason why the whole thing with Marvel, it started with those guys and has extended out from that. That's the reason why they've been borrowing money left, right, and center. And I think Gerry and I had covered that they ended up borrowing, I think it was $1 billion initially a few years ago. And then the following year, we were surprised that, because it was coming up on a year since they borrowed the $1 billion.
Right.
They borrowed $2 billion on top of that.
Yeah, there's no question Netflix is in debt.
Yeah, they are in debt, but they're doing well, but they're in debt. But
the one saving grace with Netflix is they have the largest subscribership of any streaming service.
They outdo everybody worldwide because they're in. Look, when Disney hit Disney Plus was out there, unlike say what CBS All Access had. CBS All Access was not able to be in every country. In fact, Discovery was mainly seen only in North America and Canada. Outside the United States, they had to use Netflix. And that's how we know that Discovery sucks, because Netflix is under no obligation to have to keep those numbers.
Don't hold back, Keith. Don't hold back.
They are under no obligation to not reveal those numbers. And they've got them.
And they're not going to. They never will. I guarantee you, CBS will never
CBS
let them know. Because when they release publicly on CBS for free, commercial interruption, when they released it there, that told you how bad those numbers were, because even for free, nobody wanted to watch that damn show.
Well, Netflix gave you an indication of how bad it was when they were celebrating.
PBS gets better numbers than Discovery.
Discovery was when it went to network television, Discovery was at the very bottom of the ratings. It did worse than even Batwoman.
Yeah. One thing with Netflix, is that they are like the Marvel Comics of streaming services. They throw shit to the wall and see what sticks, And then the thing with Netflix is that they decided to broadcast Discovery for overseas, like everyone that was not in the United States and Canada got to watch Discovery. And nobody did, mate. Nobody really cared for that thing. At least
I'm curious, what's this shite thing you're talking about? Is that like a pasta from England?
Yeah, it's just not very well cooked, mate. Or maybe overcooked.
To get back to it, Netflix, they've got a lot going on, but that is because they need a lot of content. And again, with all of the stuff they currently have on, try to weed out all of the Netflix original stuff from stuff that still is content from other areas. And that's still a lot of stuff. I mean, I think they still have some Star Trek related stuff, and that's all Paramount. If Paramount wanted to tomorrow pull that stuff, they could. Now, the Netflix Marvel stuff, that was a deal made with Marvel to make something exclusive for Netflix. Netflix paid for those, so they belong to Netflix.
Right.
But any new stuff, that's where the MCU comes in, and Kevin Feige, they can take that stuff after a certain period of time and be able to use that stuff again. As long as they aren't doing anything that directly connects to what was done for the Netflix movies or special shows. So you're going to have to change costumes. You're going to have to, even if you have certain people on, certain actors on to reprise roles, you're going to have to make them look slightly different. Again, it's what were they, the 25% different, just to cover your butts. Because really Hollywood's all... Hollywood's all about contracts. Okay? And I don't care what anybody tells you. What they can and cannot do to you is all written out in whatever contract you have with someone else. So even if they say, hey, you can go ahead and have this and I'm not going to do anything to you, I'm not going to sue you or anything, I'm not going to. That's what you learned from Robert Meyer Burnett. It's not show friends, it's show business. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, it's like I've worked on films, and half the people that I worked with I couldn't stand.
That's really what it is. And
get the job done. I don't need to be pals with some of these people. And
when it comes to geek and nerd stuff, you really have to get past understanding that no one is a fan. Period. End of sentence.
Now, exactly. I want to bring something onto the screen here. This is our quick weekend or week wrap up. And I really was fascinated by this story, and it's written by some dude named Kieran Bug. Oh, wait, that's you. And I kind of wanted to talk about this because, one, I'm a big werewolf fan. I love werewolf movies. So what are we looking at here, Kieran? What's going on?
Well, I was told that Marvel had this Halloween special in mind, similar to what they're doing with the holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy. So they are planning to center this Halloween special around none other than Werewolf by Night. He's going to fit in alongside the other supernatural heroes they're going to develop, such as Blade, Ghost Rider, Moon Knight.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Moon Knight. I'm not sure about Blade yet. We'll see. But I'm looking forward to Moon Knight because he was one of my favorite comic characters for years.
Honestly,
all the way through high school.
I don't know much about him. I mean...
Oh, you need to go and get some. Go to Comixology and get some digital copies of Moon Knight and see what's so badass about him. For me, he is the supernatural version of Batman for Marvel.
Yeah,
that's what I've been hearing about him. Yeah, only much more brutal.
Yes, yeah, much more brutal.
Oh, Tevin dropped out.
I will say this. The thing realistically about the whole connection between Hollywood and comics right now is nobody's really working that hard to do exactly what the comics have done. There's a lot of material out there, a lot of older material that people of a certain age, usually people younger than 30, need to really look at because it'll change how you look at comics. And in the case of the MCU, it'll make you wonder why there's a whole group of characters that those of us old enough to remember are still waiting on. It's like, hey, Kevin Feige, there are a lot of characters you could be putting into the MCU right now. If you're not going to have Captain America, if you're not going to have Iron Man anymore, if you're going to get rid of a lot of these heroes, there's a whole list of people that you could put in right now, like Submariner. Submariner is the oldest Marvel character, period. Full stop.
Yep.
He is the original Marvel character and balanced out with also he is the first mutant. Not the first mutant in their history. He is the first mutant that Marvel Comics ever featured as a character. Okay?
I heard that he was going to be in Black Panther 2, wasn't he? Namor?
It's a rumor. And that could still happen. But what I'm saying is that you haven't heard anything else about the character. And I'm still thinking they're trying to find the perfect person to play that character.
Isn't the chap who was recently announced to have joined the cast? I can't pronounce his name. I feel terrible that I can't pronounce his name. But
yes, he's as I recall, he's Asian. So. And I thought that was interesting that they would.
I just feel like that.
And he looks the part. If that's the guy, he looks the part.
I'm down with that if he's the part. I mean, have Namor as like the sort of villain of the film, like maybe start off as a villain and then lean into an anti-hero.
Well, you know that in comics and in cinema, some of your best heroes start out as the villain, and then they awaken and realize, you know. But you know, your best villains are also guys who think they're the good guy.
Yeah, also.
They think they're the hero of the story, and it's like, no, you're the bad guy.
Like,
I think one of the best representations of that was Falling Down with Michael Douglas, because at the end when he finds out, wait a minute, I'm the bad guy?
That's a good movie. That's a
What
really
about
good film.
X-Men 2, where the evil guy was killing all the mutants and everybody so that he could save everything else, but he was the bad guy because he's killing everybody, but he's really saving.
Because he's murdering people.
Right.
You know, yeah, it's a good film.
That character.
I mean, it's not a
bitch,
great
but I
film
love
because
Brian
Keith
Cox.
and I both like the first X-Men, and the second one had a lot of problems, but it's a solid film. And it's where
Unlike
we
the
get to
third
see,
film.
yeah, the third film.
There's only a handful of X-Men movies that have actually like gone above and beyond. I mean, one example is definitely First Class.
Yes. I like First Class.
That
when they were
You know
younger.
First Class is a good movie. It should have been the best movie, but it is a good movie, and part of it was the fact that Fox was not supporting that film the way that it should have been. There's a reason why you have a very good director only make one X-Men film. And then they go
I
back
can't
to
argue there. That's true.
and instead, Fox brought back the utter arsehole that is Bryan Singer.
Bryan Singer was brought back to make First Class. And remember, Bryan Singer was already a part of that. He helped to write it. He was one of the producers, and that's part of the reason. Look, you got to understand, okay? There's good and there's bad. And when it came to what Fox was doing, there were people that were good working with those characters, and there were people that should never work with those characters. Everybody that worked on and that was excited about X-Men 3, those were your problem people. And that's what they really ultimately thought that fans were going to want, you know, as a big goodbye. So that they could get rid of all these characters so that they could just start making Wolverine films. And I mean, that first Wolverine movie was meant to be the ultimate Wolverine movie. And there are still people that worked for Fox back then on those films that do not understand why the fans didn't like X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Because it's
One reason, blowed up mouth.
It isn't just word of mouth. It is a bad movie. They blew their wad on the opening credits. The opening credits prove that X-Men Origins Wolverine could have easily have been a 3-movie trilogy.
Yeah, I want to point out something before you go any further. Tevin, Keith used to be a PG guy until he became friends with me. And then he says shit like it blew their wad. You're welcome, Keith. You're welcome.
I love you,
Such a
man.
good influence.
I love you too, man. And by the way, Keith, Tevin is one of my co-workers, a supervisor with the company I work with. And we got into a room just talking and found out we had something in common. So I invited him to be on the show.
Hey.
I'm hoping he has so much fun that he wants to come back every Friday. It'll be
You know
fun to
what?
have him
He
on here.
seems like a fun guy, and you only surround yourself with cool people anyway. Tevin, if you know this guy and you can hang with this guy, you are beyond fine with me, man.
Awesome. Yeah. I was thinking
Keith-
the same. I'm like, Gerry must hang out with a whole bunch of group of awesome guys.
Wait till
Well, I
you
told-
find out
you know-
who he knows. Wait till
Well,
you
Keith
find out who
is
he
like
knows.
my best friend. You know, we hang. Whenever I get to Springfield, I want to meet up with him so we can have lunch. And that was what was weird. I was going to meet him for lunch, and Candace is there from work.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And it was so fucking bizarre because we're not in the same town having lunch. We're in another city, almost 2 hours away. and she's sitting next to me at this restaurant. And I look at her, she looks at me, and I'm like, no fucking way.
Oh, this is crazy.
And she goes, Gerry. I went, yeah, Gerry. I called her on it today. Did you catch that? She called me Gerry again. I said, who's this Gerry guy you're talking about? Well, you and I. I'm talking about you. You mean Gerry?
I loved it. Yeah, that was hilarious. He called her out in front of everybody. It was just so funny.
Yeah, that was fun. And then Tevin had to be a dick and put me in the hot seat and do a phone call for training.
No choice. You gotta do what you gotta do. Supervise. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, I told him, I said, I'm ex, not ex, but former military, and we don't volunteer for shit.
Yeah.
To call on this, and then he called at me, and I said, I bet my name didn't even pop up. You just did that because you wanted to be mean to me.
Yeah,
it's fun. I enjoy what we do. I wish we had more time to banter, but we have so much to learn. So, but anyway,
Kid has there a piece of museum there.
Before we get into anything else, I wanted to touch base about some important stuff. And of course, I'm talking about Rebecca and her tattoo company down in Kentucky. And of course, this video came out, and I'm going to play a snippet of it. Let me go ahead and share it, because she's kicking ass, man. She really is. Share screen. I'm not going to worry too much about the audio because we're going to talk. Share. There we go. And here's her video of then and now, the work that's gone into this tattoo studio. And they're going in. You're going to get to see what it looked like early on. I think that's her manager right there shooting the video. And look at this. Because this thing was empty a few weeks ago.
Looks good.
Oh, my God. Look at that. I even like the paint job. There's Rebecca at her little tattoo station.
Hi, Rebecca.
Wow.
Nice little waiting area. She is such a cool person, and she messages me all the time with updates. And in fact, I'll show you the video she sent. And the manager sent me a video today, too, from the parlor. And Deanna and I are planning to go down there, and I'm going to get another tattoo. Military, of course.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that nice? It is.
That is very legit.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Really?
I know.
Whoa.
And I'm going to show you one of the tattoos she worked on. That's the next video. Let me go ahead and open this booger up. This is her doing a tattoo. The manager sent this to me, and she made sure that I got it today. So let me share again. Share screen. And this time I'll share audio too, because I don't know. Someone might scream and it'll be fun. You never know with people getting tattoos. Does anybody recognize what the tattoo is yet?
Is it a Dragon Ball Z character?
Yep.
Wow. I don't know how I guessed that one.
A Marine buddy of mine likes to take some of my artwork and turn it into tattoos. I'm going to tell him to take it to her from now on. She knows what she's doing. I like to play this all night, but I'm going to stop it and open up the picture. Here we go. That's the finished black and white tat.
Whoa.
Incredible.
That is impressive.
That's beautiful. Hey, Tim, welcome to the show. And if I didn't say anything, I'm sorry. I've been focused on our panel and our discussion. Das Wolfen, how are you doing, my friend? I'm glad you're here. And of course, my buddy Fat Steven Seagal is taking a break from the show tonight. He's normally on our panel. He's just relaxing and chilling and visiting in the chat. And of course, Tim Possible is here. Thank you, my friend, for coming in. Who else has popped in? LDG of Geeks and Joy. Welcome to the chat, guys. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. But I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing now.
What is your YouTube called?
The YouTube channel here is Pop Culture Minefield. And we got that name from, you know who Bane is? From
Bane?
Batman?
Yeah.
The co-creator of Bane is a close friend of ours. And he gave us the name Pop Culture Minefield. We were named by the... I have weird friendships with a lot of celebrities in comics and film. And
Understatement.
You know, from all the years I've been working on film, you know, I know Bruce Campbell. He's a dick. And a likable dick, but he is a dick.
He's going to be in Arkansas tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sure if that was going to happen or not because we're dealing with, once again, this COVID crap. But I'm glad he's going to be there because I know he was wanting to be there. And then, of course, Sandy Calora, who did Batman Dead End, one of the best Batman fan films ever made, who's also a Hollywood.
If you've never seen it, go to YouTube, watch it. It's called Batman Dead End. Trust me. You're going to love
Batman versus Alien versus Predator.
Well, don't give away the whole thing. I'm
not telling you how it ends. I'm just saying they're in there. It's worth your while. So, basically, Sandy came on the show. You'll appreciate this, Devin. And as we're talking, I called him a dick. I said, no, you're kind of a dick. And it just stopped him. He's like, wait, what? I said, oh, it's a good thing. You don't put up with other people's shit and you speak your mind and you don't worry if it offends somebody. He goes, yeah, I guess I'm a dick. And I went, yeah, you're a dick. Because I'm a dick. I speak my mind all the time. Oh my gosh. Childhood friend of mine, Charlie Bruce, is in the chat. What is up, Charlie? I did not see it. Charlie, I don't know what's wrong with Facebook. It does not allow any of the chat from Facebook because we're streaming live on Facebook too.
Well, that's the reason why it took me so long. My whatever you sent me to get into the room didn't even show up until about a minute before I got on.
Facebook's a mess. It really is. But I like streaming on there because some people are too lazy to come over to YouTube. I don't want to leave Facebook. Yeah,
I spend most of my time on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Ditto. I mean, I will fall down that rabbit hole so many times. I'll click a video, go, hey, what's that? Oh my God! And I'll look over to the right, and there's like videos. I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta go watch that one now. 4 hours later, I'm like, I forgot to feed my children. But we got a good crowd here. Zacharada's here. I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm stepping on your toes. Jason Knight is here. Jason, what is up, my friend? Why don't you have an avatar? You have a channel.
Click the like.
With that?
Click the like.
Yes. Help the algorithm. Click like. Subscribe. Put a comment. Say, I fucking don't like that Gerry guy. He's a dick. I enjoy those. I like it when people don't like me or say they don't like me. It's hilarious. And Keith will tell you, no, it's true. He really is amused by that shit. I don't know why.
Yeah, he gets something out of it.
I don't know why. It's messed up. But let me go ahead and we'll start the last half of the show because we only go for about an hour and a half tops, Tevin.
Yeah.
And we may go longer if the schedule allows, but this is one of the main things is we're competing with friends of ours on another show, a much more popular show. And I figure, there's no point in extending the show past that until we're able to reschedule. Because once I get out of training from our job, I'm putting us back to our normal time, which is 2:00 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And then we'll go for 2 hours. Because Friday Night Tights is just, they're killing it over there. They got Alex Jones tonight. I can't stand the guy. Don't get me wrong. He says some things that I agree with, but he's batshit crazy with his conspiracy theories, period. And I don't dig conspiracy theorists. Don't dig them. Don't dig them. As I put it, about 99% of conspiracy theorists are fucking out of their mind. 1% I will listen to. I'll go, wait a minute. This guy's saying something interesting. But no. Let him finish. What were you saying about the second gunman on the grassy knoll? Huh? So, but would you say, Charlie? Hold on. Charlie said, I queried the fire was started by Fat Steven Seagal. Why'd you do that? I mean, that'll end up like, I think there's a lot of German Scheisse films you'll find on that one. And yeah, I read what you wrote. Okay. And over on Facebook. Oh, good Lord. Stop doing your show, Gerry. Go read what I wrote. Okay, Charlie. I do what I'm told. But we're about to move into the second half of this show, which is going to be about UFOs. Or what are they calling them now? Unidentified aerial phenomena. They're trying to get away from UFO. Yeah, UAP. Unidentified aerial phenomena. And they've had some really interesting stuff. And what amazes me about this is, and I don't know what your reaction to this was, Tevin, but when I saw what the DoD was doing right around the same time that they made the public announcement about Space Force, I definitely put two dots together. A lot of my friends were making fun of Space Force. I'm like, no, do not make fun. I'll tell you right now, if I was still in the military and they announced Space Force, I would have asked to be released to join the Air Force so I could be in. Because that's the only prerequisite. You have two prerequisites to join Space Force. You have to be in the Air Force and you have to have completed basic training. Because one of the guys that was on the show, in the panel once said, "Oh no, you got to be like special forces." I'm like, no, you don't. These are the prerequisites. In the Air Force, graduate basic training, and Air Force is basically what we refer to in the military as civilians in uniform. We don't treat them like they're real military. We're like whatever. So basically, anybody could be in Space Force. But the fact is, I do know that we've had a Space Force without an official name for about 20 years. We launched ours sometime in the late 80s because the Russians had theirs since the 50s, but they didn't announce theirs until 93, I think, 94. And so they're kind of ahead of us in the game in the public's eye. We don't announce ours until 2019. And it's like... that was weird. It's just fucking weird why we took so long. And now with these DoD videos coming out from the U.S. Navy, who is the one group of people that's like going, we don't want to talk about this. We don't want to talk about UFOs. It's the group that's most likely going to have to deal with it. Space Force. They've distanced themselves and will not respond publicly to any of it.
How do you feel about the 13 million CIA documents that came out in the Freedom of Information Act?
Oh, yeah. Jeez, that whole thing was televised, dude. I was blown away. I really was. Because I'm a believer. I've always believed in UFOs. I believe that it's crazy to not believe in them. It's like the shit happens. I think their interest in us is purely technological and escalated after the advent of nuclear energy with the atomic bombs. And that's when all the sightings began to increase. And the first ones in 47, the big ones. The Mount Rainier sighting followed immediately within days by the Roswell, New Mexico incident.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they were days apart. So and we've got, was it Kenneth Arnold, I think, was the pilot that reported the flying. He referred to it as saucer-like, but not saucer-shaped. It was more like a bat wing, but it looked like a saucer because it was so thin. So that's where flying saucers got started, was from Kenneth Arnold. And then, of course, the incident in Roswell, which we've been told now, which I've known about for years, was that there are actually 2 incidents in Roswell at different times, different people. And it's all fascinating to me, but it all seemed like folklore, legend, until those damn videos got listed by the Department of Defense as confirmed from the U.S. Navy. Now, are they aliens? We don't know. I don't know if they're aliens. I don't know if it's extraterrestrial. I don't know if it's terrestrial in nature, but from a different universe. We don't know. We just don't know. And with all the shit that's going on down at Skinwalker Ranch that they've been doing, the physicist, what's his name? Phil, the Southern guy. He talks like this. He's got a good old boy, but he's actually an astrophysicist. Yeah, he sounds like Charlie on our phone calls, Tevin. You guys don't get the joke. It's a joke between Tevin and me. And but basically, this guy is like, one of the best physicists. He's worked for NASA for decades. He's top of the line, and he doesn't know what the fuck is going on down there. And he has physically been impacted by the changes in magnetism and radiation around the Skinwalker Ranch, where he started developing sudden onset of headaches, physical pain, nausea, just onset suddenly, but accompanied by a spike in something, either magnetic or radiation. So it's all tangible, and it's really scary, and they don't know what's causing it. And then on top of that, live on cameras while they're doing the show, objects will appear in the sky. They'll just appear. They don't fly in. They don't go up. They just suddenly show up in the sky and then as quickly just disappear. All caught on camera. And it's like, and he's just like, man, there's some crazy shit going on down here in this damn farm. It's crazy. I'm telling you, boy. But
wow.
Let me see what Charlie said. Charlie Bruce. Keith, you got anything you want to update while I'm doing this?
You know what? Just pretty much the Screen Rant article that I found on the fact that George R.R. Martin didn't care for the ending of Battlestar Galactica. We call that irony, kids.
George R. R. Martin doesn't even care about his own writing.
You mean the 2 books that he owes that it's looking like he's never gonna finish?
The sad thing is that he hasn't got a Christopher Tolkien, like someone who finish his legacy, like Tolkien did, for instance, like.
Well, he could actually assign someone to finish his books, but something tells me he's not even going to do that.
Yeah, I don't really think that he's going to go do that,
Wow. You know what? I have a lot of respect for his writing ability and his writing. But I'm sorry, he just seems a little preoccupied with other things right now.
Do you read a lot, Keith?
Do I read a lot?
Yeah.
Not as much as I used to. I used to read a lot. I mean, I was the king of reading like 5 or 6 books at the same time.
Wow.
I mean, and also carrying storylines for at least 4 or 5 different comics. You know.
Yeah, he was one of those nerds.
A lot of the books that I read, a lot of the paperback books were on average about that thick. So,
what was your main interest?
Oh, geez. I loved books that detailed how film and or television shows were made. So I read...
That's something you and I shared as kids. I loved reading how to make movies.
Yeah.
I got that book. I forget who did it. The makeup and shit.
Yeah.
How to do monster makeup.
The Making of Star Trek by Gene Roddenberry and Stephen E. Whitfield was a book that I read cover to cover.
Did you read The Concordance by B. Joe Trimble?
I read The Concordance. I read both Once Upon a Galaxy, which was the making of Empire Strikes Back, and also the making of Return of the Jedi. I read, let's see, the making of
break those down. I like that. What were they saying in those books?
Well, the Once Upon a Galaxy was written by a New York Times reporter who embedded himself with the crew as they started production on The Empire Strikes Back. So it starts with him on the train as they are going to the set to film the Hoth scenes.
Did they say where he got the idea or the structure?
No. It was literally about being embedded with them and getting the reactions and what they're doing and the different departments. I mean, what you're talking, this is 1980. So unlike a lot of the really cool stuff that gets put on DVDs and Blu-rays, I would have loved that had that stuff been available, at that time. But these types of books were rare. I mean, you had a certain subset of people that liked reading that stuff, but for the most part, it wasn't something that the general public was really interested in.
Weirdos like you and me read that shit.
Yeah, it's a slog through some of those books. That Star Trek book, oh geez, God, it's a tough book. But if you're truly, I will say this: I liked watching Star Trek when I was younger, and I thought it's a great series. After reading that book and another book called The World of Star Trek, which was written by the guy who ended up writing The Trouble with the Tribbles, and he wrote that about his experience.
David Gerald, who used to be a friend of mine.
David Gerald wrote 3 books while he was 2 books while he was with them, and the first book was how he created and wrote The Trouble with the Tribbles and sold it to Star Trek. And the second book was everything he observed while he was on set of the original series. And let's just say certain people that have testified to certain things, I think David Gerald pretty much blew a lot of that stuff out of the water. There's William Shatner was really one of the fun guys to be around, and he was one of the few people, like Harrison Ford, that spend time with the crew.
Because that's why I tell people, when you hear George Takei or Nichelle or any of the other cast slagging on Shatner, they misunderstood him, is really what it's about. Because he really was a great guy to be around. He was a hard worker. He did his job. And he knew that the most important thing was to keep the series going and not worry about placating the bit players getting the lines.
Which is
job,
technically what they were.
They were bit players. Some of them were only day players.
Yeah, you got to understand how television worked back then. This whole ensemble cast thing was started after Star Trek was off the air.
How did they do it?
Well, what you had is every television show had your star and then your secondary star, co-star, and then your add-ons. Okay? And so for Star Trek, Shatner was the star. Plain and simple. He was the star of the show.
Okay.
And every television show did that. Every single TV show. I mean, you wouldn't know that to listen to certain people that worked on the show. But in actuality, that's how every television series was. Every television series prior to, say, at least 1975, I don't care who you are, whoever was at the top, whoever got top billing on that show, that was your star, period. And then everyone else followed accordingly, and you got paid based on who you were within that hierarchy. So Shatner got paid the most. But here's another thing. Shatner was married with 3 daughters and spent a lot of his time when he wasn't trying to work out to lose weight, because, again, he liked food, okay? I mean, that's no big secret. But he worked hard to really make that show work, and also, be a family man at the same time. It didn't do well for his marriage. And one of the things that not a lot of people understand is when the show went off the air, like any other show, you make money based on the checks that you would get, called residuals, based on going into syndication. In other words, rerunning episodes, right?
Yep.
In the very beginning, for every show that goes right into syndication, those checks that you get that first 2, 3, 4 years, those are the biggest checks you'll ever get. And then they suddenly fall off. They get smaller over time. Well, Shatner never really got a chance to enjoy any of those checks. He and his wife got a divorce. And he did what any man would do. His wife was taking care of the girls. So he gave all his checks to his ex. He ended up living for a while in his truck. And this is as
Star
that
led
Trek,
to that little story that I like telling.
That was that whole period of time. Let's see, the show went off the air in 1969. Within a year, Star Trek was becoming popular again. Now, what they ended up finding out is that the way that they worked the Nielsen ratings, they redid the rules for how, and the way that you do the ratings for television after 1969. Turns out that when they ran the numbers again for Star Trek, using what was at that time the new current Nielsen ratings, Star Trek was a top 20 show.
Wow.
Which is the reason why NBC was like, whoa, we need to get this show back on the air. But by the time they figured it out, they had canceled the show and everybody had scattered to the 4 winds, and Shatner needed to be working. He worked any job, anything that he could get because he needed the money.
Everywhere. Commercials, movies, TV, bit parts, just trying to get a paycheck.
And because of that, he didn't do the conventions like a lot of the other cast members were doing in the aftermath of the show being big. Okay, 1971, 72, 73. That show took off and just exploded. I mean, you know how shows like Big Bang Theory, how big they were? That's how big Star Trek was in syndication. And so Shatner was busy working on other shows. He couldn't go to those conventions. And certain stories started to be told at these conventions that eventually worked their way through people. And a lot of people just accepted these stories as gospel, when in actuality, it was just people telling stories, and one of them was like Shatner didn't want to, he didn't like being Captain Kirk. He didn't want to go and see people at the conventions, which wasn't true. He was working. He eventually did go, but it took a little bit to straighten out his schedule. And on top of that, again, he was kind of living out of his truck. Compared to everyone else in that cast, he's probably the most successful one outside of Leonard Nimoy. And Nimoy himself was also busy doing stuff. It took Nimoy a while himself to make it to conventions. But they never gave him flack, mainly because to give Nimoy flack means you're going against the fans, and they don't want to do that. was easier to make fun of or take on Shatner because,
But correct me if
reasons.
I'm wrong, Keith. Also, I think that most of that was owed also to George Takei, right? Like he started gossiping about not having a very good relationship with Shatner, even on the sets and all that sort of thing, right?
Well, a lot of that also was the fact that they just thought that Shatner didn't deserve to be the star. The thing that they didn't tell you is that everybody back then, every television show that was on television had the lead actor. And the reason why we know this to be true, outside of those of us that lived through it, there's a book called Star Trek: The Real Story, written by two people. The man who sold the show on behalf of Desilu, he sold that one and Mission Impossible to NBC. And he and his co-writer both did something that no other authors of the making of Star Trek ever did whenever they would write about that time period. They had everybody's contracts. They had the memos. They could prove and back up everything they were writing about. So
yeah, there's a lot of stories that just came out of bullshit. And
well,
as much as I enjoy George Takei, I think he's got a shitty, nasty attitude.
I
shouldn't have.
I just think it over time, it has worked to his benefit to tell these stories and to have this feud going on with Shatner. And
now,
again,
I hate to interrupt.
Yeah.
But we're down to the end of this, and I still haven't gotten to the UFO thing yet.
Yeah,
and I want to respond. I want to respond to two posts, and I think Script Doctor just joined us. There he is.
Hello, Script.
Good evening, and hey, everybody. Thanks for the invite.
Hey, Script Doctor.
How are you?
Well, you're always welcome here, buddy. You're always welcome. Script Doctor, Tevin, this is Script Doctor. Script Doctor, this is Tevin, a guy I work with, who I think is freaking awesome. He's a nerd.
I love his hair.
I gravitate. I'm
telling you, ladies are going to love your hair, Tevin. You are going to get.
They already do.
Quick.
I guarantee you, there are 5 girls I know who have crushes on him at work. They're like, two of them talked to you this afternoon when you did that thing with your voice, and the whole conversation went to voice acting.
Oh my god!
2 of them I know have crushes on you.
That's the way YouTube works, man. You are the flavor of the moment, dude.
Yeah, and I'm hoping you're enjoying yourself right now because I'd love to have you on. And Karen, you've been really quiet, but the fact is, I want you to get more engaged here. I want you to be a regular panelist on this show. Because
Karen, you also a star, man. You also a star, man. So enjoy
Karen's
that,
just Karen, you're such a sweetheart. I love you. I'm so glad you're doing what you're doing, dude.
Thanks, bro.
And I love you in a non-gay way, but maybe also a little gay too. I don't know.
No judgment here.
No judgment here. I want to go back. There were a couple of comments. Didn't know because I agree with that. As a teenager, I read Shannara books every day. Oh, put that back on there, motherfucker.
Very good.
Put that back on there. Zax, put it back on there. Oh, you did. I'll put it back on. As a teenager, I read Shannara books every day. Those books made me interested in sci-fi, even though it's fantasy. One, I will forgive you for spelling sci-fi that way once.
Oh.
Everyone gets one, like Spider-Man gets forgiven once. Please, Awesome One, don't ever spell it that way again. That's sort of like pissing on a midget, man. It's just not cool. I liked the art from Shannara because that was the Hildebrandt brothers. And oh my God, they were the best artists going for a while. They also had one of the best Star Wars posters before Drew Struzan did his.
Yeah, and they were also part of the Topps collection for Star Wars cards, trading cards, and man, those were awesome.
Well, and Lord of the Rings.
And Lord of the Rings, Also the calendars from the 1970s.
And now let's see. Jason says, have you guys read the book Hunt for the Skinwalker by George Knapp? It goes over the history of Skinwalker Ranch and the first scientist that studied the bizarre happenings going on at the property. No, but it just made my Amazon list for buying a new book. Martin Acosta Santana, ¿qué tal, mi amigo?
Aren't skinwalkers basically like Wendigo type creatures? Like
well, that's what they were talking about. The fact is, though,
they steal your skin and wear it.
It's supposedly they steal your skin, but the fact is, there's other stuff that's been reported for decades, and now that they're doing that research on that show, the Skinwalker Ranch series, it's like, okay, this is some bizarre stuff. What part of it's supernatural, we don't know, but there's something that's related to UFOs going on there. Shit going on under the ground, and changes in magnetism, changes in radiation that shouldn't be happening. It's not normal. You expect to see that along runs of rock or water, and they're not finding anything like that there. That's explaining what's going on. It's really freaking bizarre.
But that's the wonderful thing about the universe is that for all we learn about it, it can still do whatever the hell it wants and confuse us any which way.
Oh, that is true.
Like, it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, nothing goes faster than the speed of light. Okay, the universe is like, yeah, we're going to change that.
Yeah, I remember that. It's like, nothing can move faster. Okay, now we know that there are things that go faster than the speed of light. So,
you know what's really interesting? There was actually a crop circle that was decoded that ended up breaking down that there are 3 different speeds of light. But I was like, that's insane. I don't know how.
It's based on gravity, actually, oddly enough. So the speed of light that we recognize is based on the gravity of within our own galaxy.
Oh, okay. I have no idea. So
no, dude, you're asking the questions. That's the best way to start.
Yeah.
And Script Doctor, by the way, Tevin works on Hollywood, on TV and film, and that's why we aren't allowed to know his name, because he also says political stuff every once in a while. He doesn't want to lose his job.
He's a superhero.
It's not because he's a hack writer or anything.
He's
Although
really.
I am a hack writer.
You're a hack writer.
He's a superhero, is what he is. He really does fight bad scripts.
He's absolutely on the top 10 list of people I like having on the show and talking to.
Top 5 for me, Script Doctor.
Oh, thank you. I made number 9 and 4.
Oh, fuck you, you suck up. All right. Here we go. Let's watch this video. I left the audio is on. Yes, it's on. Cool. I guess we're not getting any audio with this.
most of it, unless it was on the news. Oh, it says ABC.
Yeah, ABC.
Yeah, because I like the videos where you can hear the pilots like reacting to this shit, and they were freaking out. Like, are you seeing this? Do you see what it's doing? Look at that, you know, cussing. Look at that son of a bitch go.
Oh.
Is this the 18-year-old tape or the?
Yeah, I think this is one from 2004. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys also read that that article that said the government found off-world vehicles not made on this planet?
I have not seen that, and I always find those less credible.
This one was definitely.
Here we go.
Oh, look at that thing! They couldn't even track it at first; it was moving so quickly. And finally, the AI caught it.
Roger. They're troubleshooting. Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude! Wow.
That's a weird angle to have captured that at, but that's so cool.
Yeah.
On, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
That's
My God.
a whole fleet of them, because the radar guy was reporting multiple, and this is the only one they focused on. United States Navy and the U.S. United States Department of Defense confirmed.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
And he just confirmed that it's moving, not standing still. That it's moving against 120 knot winds.
So are they on a relay plane with with like
No, this is an F-14 Tomcat.
Okay, and so
actually, all the videos that we've seen so far are from F-14 Tomcats.
Okay, so is that their point of view heads-up display camera?
Yes, that's their heads-up display.
How are they able to follow laterally while they're flying forward?
Once the AI captures it, it will not lose the tracking of it.
No, I mean, but take a look at the clouds in the direction of where they're going. If you're in a plane, you can only go one direction forward.
Yeah,
right?
I think they're.
How are they strafing at the same time and keeping level?
Yeah, exactly. That is the AI doing that for them.
That's the AI compensating for it? Okay.
Yes. It's recording this for them, and they're seeing it on their screens, which is part of their heads up.
It's not exactly directly in front of them. But
it's not in front of them.
It's in their line of sight, essentially.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's the one thing I've never been able to find out from the naval aircraft.
Now, the thing that they don't talk about is that white glow you see around it, that the thermal on that is showing them as cold. There's no heat.
Nice.
But for some reason, there's heat on the outside of it, which really matches up with some of the things that they've talked about with, what do they call it, the warp bubble?
Oh, that's called the displacement theory, which they learned.
Yeah, the displacement theory. Thank you.
At CERN. So when they started sending atoms close to the speed of light, they found that the matter around the atom would create some type of field that would displace other atoms in front of it, basically protecting it in a sense.
Protecting it from all that heat.
Yeah. So
and
it actually
staying cool
they found
itself.
out that you have from like the a movement of 0, the closer you get to the speed of light, once you pass a certain threshold, you end up not needing a heat shield. So, which is like fascinating. So they realized that if you're going a certain velocity closer to the speed of light, for some reason, you're creating a displacement field in front of you. And I don't know if it's magnetic or if it's actually just causing from the rupture of such a speed to force everything away from it so that it doesn't get friction. But it's just really crazy and fascinating. The report that they put out, which I think was like 18, 19 years ago, was like 102 pages. and they were able to track it for only like half a second or something of that nature. But it was just crazy.
Now let's talk about reactions, because one of the big questions is, are they a threat? This is the thing. And I got to tell you, for as long as they've been bothering us, they've never really seemed to pose a threat to us. I don't think they give two shits about us. They're curious about what we're doing technologically.
Maybe.
And that's about it.
Or maybe this is just like a makeout place for them to go as kids. It's like, hey, I just got the new spaceship. I'll take my date out to, Earth. It's like it's a weird place.
You ever been to Earth, baby? Huh?
It's close to the outer rim.
Yeah.
It's kids joyriding. That's it. They're having a good time.
Could be.
Exactly.
Like
now,
Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Yeah, Rick and Morty. The way I look at it is the way we deal with animals. We know that there are intelligent animals. We know there are. But we still study them. And we don't, ask their permission.
Sometimes you tag them. Tag them and then what? And track them.
And
But
track
how
them,
does
yeah.
God play into it?
God? I have no idea.
I've only known
Keith is the religious one. I'm agnostic.
I only know a few religious priests and pastors and imams and stuff that are cool with aliens and don't think that their existence discredits the encounters they've had. And then I know many others that are like, no, just flat out no.
I do know that, if I were to say I believe something, I fall in line with what Ridley Scott has talked about and used in Prometheus, which is, I believe there's a lot of misunderstanding from people from the past. These people were just out of the Stone Age. you see shit like that come from outer space. What do you think it is? You know,
how do you try to come up with words to define the unknown?
In particular, has so much stuff in there that's when you look at it, it's like, wait a minute, this sounds like a close encounter to me. So are aliens angels? Are angels aliens? I don't know.
Well, it could be.
I don't know enough.
It could be because there are also some evidences that pose to the possibility that they were interpreted as gods or something like that, which come from especially Mesoamerican civilizations, where they also try to emulate the sort of skull that they had. And I don't know.
Well, you see the connection from culture to culture with what alien, what do they call them? Ancient alien theorists.
Yeah.
I love how History Channel loves to throw that into the car. But ancient alien theorists think so. And I watch those shows. I fucking admit it. I watch them religiously. And I just think they're amazing. I love that guy with the crazy fucking hair with the Greek name. I always forget his name. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. I fucking love those shows. I love ancient alien theories. I love it because I've been reading that shit with my dad since 1969.
Yeah, that became a thing in the
Chariots
70s.
of the Gods.
Yeah, and you had Chariots of the Gods, In Search of, as a television show, which was
God, I love that show.
Hosted by Leonard Nimoy, and it was just like, this is to me a holdover from the 70s with my mind. This is a 70s flashback, but there's a lot of stuff we really don't know about this universe, seriously, and we really have not been around that long when you really look at how long humans have been around compared to the age of the universe. We've only been here like a blink. So to try to understand everything in that amount of time, that's not going to happen. I'm surprised we've learned what we have learned. I'm impressed with what we could learn going into the future. I think we're trying to catch up, and our understanding of what all of this is needs to catch up with it. Now, some people are easily frightened, and that's fine, but they really, we really, as a species, need to recognize the fact that there's a very good chance that we are not the only ones. And that isn't to mean any
Carl
doom
Sagan.
or gloom. Yeah.
Had it
right.
Oh,
Original
yeah,
Cosmos was great.
So
oh my God, I love that show. There are billions of Earths out there.
Yeah.
Earth-like planets.
If you've never seen the original Cosmos, or even the new version from Seth MacFarlane, you need to check those out. Those are very educational. You can probably buy Carl Sagan's book Cosmos now cheap at any used bookstore. You can buy it online from Amazon. Give it a read. But just use this as an opportunity to learn.
Well, not only that, because Carl Sagan had the best philosophy with regards to religion, not just defending it, but also not just denying it. But he's saying, okay, so let's say we aren't the only ones here and there is someone looking out for us. Well, shouldn't we do the best we can to help us not suffer? And if there isn't anyone looking out for us, then shouldn't we be doing the best we can to help everybody so they don't suffer? It's like the same result.
There you go.
The goal should be
God, I miss Carl Sagan.
The goal should be in common place, and it shouldn't be dictated by whether or not there's some sort of supernatural creature above us or not. It's the fact that if we're the only ones here and we can't communicate with that being, we might as well try and make the best of the situation we can with each other and not make it worse. So with idle divides of what have you.
Hey, before we go any further, Kieran's battery's about to die. So Kieran, tell us where to find you. And are you coming back again? Did you have fun?
Oh, I loved it. It's been fantastic, and okay. I'll come back whenever I can.
I will invite you every week. So there you go. Center Space. You tell us where to find you, where to read your articles. Give everybody the lowdown.
whenever I write an article, you can always find it on Geekosity.
That's geekositymag.com. And Kieran is one of the writers. We actually talked about one of his articles tonight. And he works with our good friend Mikey Sutton. And you can see the logo is still up over Keith's head there, Geekosity. It's an amazing magazine. He has a batting average. Mikey Sutton has a batting average of 1,000 right now. I cannot find one single scoop that he was wrong on. Not one yet.
And Kieran works with him. He works with him. I don't think Mikey would have him on if Kieran wasn't good. Kieran's a superstar. We all know
like
it.
his writing. Good stuff, my friend.
You will.
Thanks,
you
buddy.
should definitely come back, big man. Seriously.
Oh, I plan to. Don't worry about
Good.
that, guys.
All right, I'll send
I've had
you
a
an
blast.
invite next week and every week following.
All right.
Oh,
I'll
we
let you know
lost
which
Evan.
ones I can join.
All right, Kieran, you take good care, and I'll add you to our private group on Twitter so you can be in the chat.
All right. Cheers, pal.
Cheers, mate. And sadly, it looks like we lost Tevin. Before, I'm not sure what happened there. I think he just lost connection. I'll check and see. And I'm going to go ahead and let you go, Kieran. And so you go when you want. All right.
All right then. So I'll come back when I can.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So I'll see you guys. Maybe next week, maybe in the week after. Who knows? But I'll be back.
I'll send you invites. You show up when you want.
All right, pal.
All right, buddy.
All right,
see you
good to
later.
meet you all.
Live long and prosper. It's Star Trek
Cheers,
Day.
mate.
Peace and long life.
Thank you. I offer free artwork when I do cons to anybody who can give me the response. I will throw up the hand and I'll go, I'll say, live long and prosper. I said, if you know what to say back, you get your pick of anything off my table. And I've only had like a handful of people that knew the response. And I'm like, wow, I was really disappointed. I was just wanting to give away some free art.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with a third one for Star Trek one day, like a really clever, catchy one as well. Tricky.
Death to New Trek. Oh, I'm sorry.
Something that's more Vulcan.
No,
I think
no.
that one could be catchy.
Eat shit and die.
Something for within Star Trek.
Oh, within Star Trek?
Yeah.
Suck it, Mikey. Oh, sorry.
Michael Burnham's not canon.
Fodder,
Yeah.
maybe. But
Eat shit, George Takei. Stop being a catty bitch.
Oh, George Takei has used the Vulcan salute more than Leonard Nimoy.
right? Look,
Yeah.
It's not even his.
No.
It's cultural appropriation.
Well, it's the Hebrew sign for saluting God or praising to God.
It's done with both hands over the ark.
Over
What was supposed to be the ark.
Yeah. I'm a very bad Jewish person, actually. My parents didn't want me to be dedicated to any singular religion.
I am the only Irish Catholic out of a family of 6 Jew siblings. All my siblings are Jewish, except me. Yeah.
You must be
I'd
celebrating
eat
this
pork.
week then.
I'd eat the ham on the holidays.
I actually had bacon and sausage for dinner with before I came on
But
here.
then you're a bad Jew.
Yeah.
You didn't celebrate this week then, Script?
I beg your pardon?
You didn't celebrate this week then? Like, they had a celebration, right? The Jewish this week. At the beginning, I think.
I don't celebrate any holidays. I don't even celebrate Christmas. So, like, it's just another day for me. If other people want to
Christmas
celebrate it
because I
and
get-
include me in the festivities, I'm happy to partake, but I don't do it myself. I don't host.
Well, hosting is difficult, yeah, but I like Christmas because I get to eat turkey, a little bit more.
Oh, I can do that any day I want. I don't have to wait.
Yeah, I have to say I love ham.
Yeah, I like a
And
good
if it's
smoked
not ham, it's turkey. I like turkey. And if I'm not eating those two, I want steak.
Mm.
Don't give me no
Nice.
chicken. I want steak. Steak, turkey, and ham. God's perfect meats.
Oh, yeah, ham is really good.
And the greatest thing God ever created? General Tso's chicken, though. It is really good. I will have chicken that way.
Look, a kid.
God gave us one of the best things by creating China just to create that damn food. I can hear people like, what the fuck did he just say? And
how dare you praise China during these contentious times?
Yeah, exactly. And of course, I have to put this up.
Oh, Ken Jeong.
Yeah, I love that guy. First time I
like
saw
him
him was in a comedy music video. He was still working as a physician, a doctor.
I saw him do stand-up while he was still working as a
you
physician.
You and I talked about that. It's like,
yeah.
I love how he did that because he wasn't sure. Is this going to work? Is this going to work?
His wife's a doctor, so he was okay. He's like, we're still going to be making. That's how he opened up. He's like, even if I suck at this, I'm still going to be making money because my wife's still a physician.
Yeah, sadly, I think Tevin's phone died.
Yeah.
I think that's why we lost
I think
him.
he said that somewhere there.
Well, no, that was Kieran. Kieran was having trouble too. He was down to 10%.
It's all good.
Hi, fellas. Did you watch that, promotional photo or something, whatever, of the upcoming God of War Ragnarok photo of Argenberda, the goddess that is now black?
Oh, there's Tevin. Where's his comment?
I think it was that in the public chat,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I don't see it. Why is it not showing up?
YouTube chat's been very strange the last week and a half.
Yeah, put that up there. Hey, buddy. I'm going to invite you back next week. I hope you can make it. Charge your phone or laptop better. But I like working with him. He's really one of my favorite people to work with.
Good kid.
Yeah. I don't know what it is with me and wanting to hang out with black dudes. I just, I don't know.
Handle business.
It really is because, as a kid growing up in a black neighborhood, I was just like, you guys are fucking awesome.
You've been acclimated.
Yeah.
I look at it this way: living around a lot of white people, you will not believe how many times I got out of.
Well, I've said it time and time again. You are the whitest black dude I've ever met.
And still able to tell people to get out of things. It's like, well, I got to go do black guy stuff.
Yeah, I got to go do black guy stuff. I love that one. But it's I found it funny because one of my roommates when I was first moving into adulthood was Kennard Williams, and he was like a rock guitarist, dude. Rock. He played a classic Gretsch guitar. Hollow wood, with a hollow neck. It's a really beautiful guitar. But I'd go into his room and he'd be listening to the Stones, the Beatles, all that, just straight up rock. Go into my room, what do you hear? You hear Parliament. You hear Earth, Wind, and Fire. Rick James. I listened. And when I played rock and roll, because I played for a lot of rock bands, I had a lot of quick bass drum kicks because I played so much funk.
Yeah. And
so I would get double kicks in on my bass drum where most guys would do the boom, boom, boom. I go, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. And I learned to play bass drum from my buddy Anthony Jones. He and I played, it was really funny. I played in an all-black band with Anthony Jones, and we both played drums. We were one of those bands that had two drummers, and he taught me how to do speed drum on my foot by putting a brick on when I was practicing on my foot. And then when I took that off, man, my foot was so fast. But after a gig, I told you about this one, Keith. We played at a black club in DC.
Hey,
and hey. And when we're done, this big dude comes walking up to me and says, "You're a good drummer for a cracker." And I'm like, and I start looking at my bandmates like, well, is that okay? Is that good? And Larry Holmes, the lead singer for our band, was like, yeah, his name was Lawrence Holmes. And he's like, take it. It's a compliment. I'm like, thank you. I'm a good drummer.
That reminds me, Keith. Next time I want to get out of a sticky situation, I'm going to say I got black guy stuff to do.
I got black guy stuff to
You're
do.
more than welcome to use it. I've used it for years, and trust me, it has gotten me out of some really tight situations.
That's good to know.
And I got to tell you, because Keith's face is on our graphic on Twitter, I think a lot of black dudes, when I say shit, don't know how to respond to me. Because they're not sure if I'm the white dude or the black dude on Twitter. I think they just like, I'm just going to leave that one alone.
That's one of the things that my twin brother really, it cracks him up, man. I mean, it just cracks him up to watch our show and to see how we play off of each other. My twin brother.
Oh, your twin brother.
It cracks
I know your
him
younger brother, he likes me more than you.
Yeah, my youngest brother, but we'll be taking care of him real soon.
Hey, Viking, before we go, why don't you give us a nice little announcement on your channel, where to find you, what you talk about, all that stuff.
Right on, mate. So, well, I'm Viking Out of Time. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Viking Out of Time, where we talk about mainly everything that is going on right now in the pop culture, entertainment, and all of that. We make videos reacting sometimes to certain things, certain stuff, but mainly news. And I'm thinking about maybe opening a little bit of another section to my channel, like sort of video essays. Let's see how that goes. But
and your
right
channel
now,
is called Viking Out of Time, right?
and the channel is called Viking Out of Time. That's true. And also you can find me on Twitter also as Viking Out of Time. You know, ranting and raving and complaining, and also interacting with these fellows here, pop culture minefield, whenever time allows. And you can also find me with Fat Steven Seagal's channel. We've got this butchered every other Wednesday. We have a lot of fun. You know, we talk about it.
Yeah, I love. We've got this buttered. It's fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. The only thing that you need to do is just to bring your dictionaries. You know.
Amen to that. Zax, tell us about your channel and all the things that you do. Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks, Zax.
That's about it. No channel.
I was just fucking around, man. I just wanted to,
That was fascinating.
I figured you wouldn't even jump in. I figured we'd just pretend like you're saying stuff. And then, of course, Script Doctor. Everybody, well, we know where to find you. Tell everybody else. I'm going to bet they know where to find you too, but do it anyway. Because I said so.
You can find me on Twitter at Script Doctor PhD. I do have a channel. It's in hiatus right now because I'm a working script doctor at the moment. But I'll pop up on various live streams here and there. Just trying to have a good time and bring in some extra commentary.
Yeah, I love it when you're available and you can show up, dude. Because
me too.
You always bring so much fun to the show with us.
Yeah,
and
you bring a lot of legitimacy to what we do. So
yeah,
you are so much fun, so knowledgeable. I mean, between you and Gerry, I almost don't really have to do anything. So
you got all the stories, Keith.
That is true. And lots of knowledge.
Although
too, you know?
I do have to say, I have been considering, because I've been asked multiple times to start recording some of the fucked up stories of my past that are so fucking funny. Because I'm blessed to have been friends with some amazing fucking weird people. And I've had some fucked up shit happen with my friends, including two of the producers of this show, Craig, who's no longer active with the show, but I still consider him part of it, and Jim Woodward, who is still a constant part of what we do. And I've got so many fucked up stories about him and me. I mean, I remember waking up one day and walking to get my clothes and opening the closet, and he's asleep in my closet, passed out, just like drunk, passed out. And I'm like, the fuck are you doing in my closet? You know, the answer is worth listening to. I'll give it another time, not here.
Let me just officially say that he wasn't doing black guy stuff. So
no, he was not. He was just doing drunk shit. And God bless him. He's been sober since 1989, I think.
Oh, great.
So God love him, you know. But yeah, he was drunk. He was fallen down drunk for a while. And I've got so many fucked up stories with him. And one of these days, I'm just going to start doing little sniglets, little shows. I wanted to say snippet, and then sniglet popped into my head. Anybody remember that shit from the 90s? Anybody? The late 80s?
Yeah.
Sniglets?
Yeah. Isn't that from... It's not necessarily the news. It was from... not necessarily the news. Wasn't that a segment?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And his name is Rich Hall, and he used to crack me up. And we used to create our own when I was a paramedic, and we came up with one for that called an ambu slap. That's the slap that you give to an ambulance to let it know it's okay to go.
Yeah,
I see cops do it all the time, firemen. They'll slap the back of the ambulance. Okay, like a horse. Go ahead.
Yeah, they do like tap tap or something like that.
Oh yeah, I wrote a gag like that. They did the you slap the back of a car and then it neighed like a horse and then it drove off.
So, but that's our show. We went a little over. It was a good episode. God, it was fun. I'm glad we got some UFO stuff in there, but really, it was fun having Kieran on here and talking about that shit. And I was really glad to have Tevin on here because I've been talking about getting him on here for 3 weeks, I think.
I know. We need another black guy.
Yeah, I get tired of just one black dude on the show.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
No, I don't bring it up to it.
And you're really so white.
I know.
With your blackness.
I'm just not enough.
But we are people of color.
Okay, you're doing Kevin Pollak doing William Shatner there.
That's right.
No, that's it. I always say that. I'm doing Pollak's version of Shatner.
Yeah, most people do, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually been said. I've seen it in an article. They talked about that, and he was involved with it. But, we lost Zach. He'll be back. Unless he had to go feed the kids. But no, I'm serious. He has sometimes he has to take care of family stuff.
Oh, I know. I remember those days.
Yep, there he is. He came
Trust
back.
me. In fact, one of my kids showed up here. So if he's still watching, hi.
Well, I'm hoping because I need to get Benjamin back on here, but I want to get Zoe on here because she loves you so much, and I think she would have so much fun with the two of us.
She is a great kid. You have done an excellent job with her. I mean,
but she's such a snotty shit sometimes too.
I wonder where she gets that from.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah,
she, I was telling somebody earlier today, I was blessed with me as a daughter. My daughter acts like me, has the same snarky, smart-ass things, because I tell people, it took a while for me to figure out the filter and to figure out what was appropriate and inappropriate. I got kicked out of classes in high school like crazy, got in trouble with teachers all the way through middle school because I'd make fun of them and I'd do impressions of them. And, and I thought teachers were just assholes that I had to deal with, give me the fucking paperwork, leave me alone. But Zoe, went through the same stuff, and it's kind of fun watching her because I realize I'm just watching an echo of me, but she brings on this interesting angle from the estrogenical universe, which is like, but I've had to apologize to her numerous times because I'm where she got the resting bitch face, because she has resting bitch face, and she got it from me. Because if you catch me and I'm zoned out, not paying attention, I look like I want to murder you.
And she just emulated that.
She's got it too.
Hey, that's the thing about kids. That's all your kids have time to do, really. I mean,
my son Ben writes a lot. He's just a voracious writer, and Sean, the middle one, is just an incredible artist.
Script Trooper, how's it going?
Hello, Script Trooper. Hail, mates.
Hey, yeah. Glad you joined us at the end of the show.
It's all right.
And Das Wolfen.
Yeah, my daughter. I don't know how to define it, because my daughter is so clever, so smart, but then she'll say something really from no experience. It's where it comes from. She tries to be philosophical, and it's like I told her, I said, listening to you spout philosophy is like listening to a virgin describe sex.
Call that her being in reset mode. She's just experimenting, it's just on a reboot. You know.
But she's very philosophical. And I said, in 10 years, I want to circle back and check your philosophy out. Right now, you're so full of shit. I love you, baby. You're full of shit. You know.
Well, that's what she's in her 20s now, right?
She's 22 now. Yeah, she just turned 22.
That's where you get the BS philosophy.
Yeah, you're
that
an
age.
idealist at that age.
Christopher and Jonathan Nolan are still in 22 in their philosophy age. At this point, they're just
I always found it funny. Well, this is what I try to tell women when I'm talking to them. Men in particular are fucking idiots until they're 26. And right around 26, they begin the process of getting it. But they don't get it. But they're starting. So they have on and off moments of being really smart and then being total dipshits. And then if you don't get it completely by 35, you are fucked. You have from 26 to 35 to get it. If you don't get it by 35 and you're still living at your parents' house, you are fucked. You are never going to do anything with your life because you missed that opportunity. And one of my best friends is a huge example of that, Mac, because he still lives with his parents and he's in his 40s. One day I'm going to be a writer. You're a good writer, but it's still not.
You got to finish something and send it out.
You got to be ambitious. You got to have an ounce of ambition to finish shit.
And you got to read a lot. That's the other part. Yeah.
Now he reads a lot. He's
good.
A very good writer. He's one of the best writers I've ever read, but he lacks any ambition. He has no ambition. I remember because he was really good at doing voices. I said, "Hey, do this line as this person." He says, "I'm not your fucking monkey." And I get it. You're a nonconformist, but nonconformist doesn't work when you want to be a fucking writer.
The best writers are the ones that actually manipulate the conformity of the industry. That's what they do. It's like, I'm a nonconformist. Yeah, but you got to do something to trick them so that you can be your nonconformist self. And it usually takes the most creative of us to pull that off.
And that reminds me, right now we need to do this. Everybody, we're going to do the nonconformist oath and be good nonconformists. So everybody, Keith, Script, Viking, even you, Zax, unmute yourself and let's do the oath. Come on, everybody. You ready? Everybody ready?
You're just going to tell us to all say
I promise to be different.
I'm going to go do black guy stuff.
Fuck you, Keith. I promise to be unique.
I promise to be unique.
I promise not to repeat things other people say.
All right, then.
That's an old Steve Martin joke, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been watching Only Murders in the Building?
I'm on episode 1, and yes, I have been. I'm very much enjoying it. I'm going to be starting
really
episode
dry.
2 tonight.
It is super dry. Like you can take a shower, watch that, and not need a towel at all by the time.
Yeah, not need a towel because it is very dry and it's droll and it's I'm not going to call it esoteric.
No,
but it's a unique kind of humor. It's unique and it's kind of dark.
It's got a familiar because Steve Martin co-wrote this, and it's got a familiar trope of Steve Martin playing an actor who played a character that was a detective, and the name is Brazos, and I'm like, I know that name from some other Steve Martin bit somewhere. Like he's pulling that back.
Oh, I'm sure, because like I remember in high school, I think I was in 9th grade, 10th grade, and I read Cruel Shoes, the novel he wrote, Martin. And I was like, I kept telling everybody, you got to fucking read this. And they're like, nah, I'm not going to read it. And I'm like, you're lost. That was a good fucking book. And that was when I knew he was a good writer.
Well, I've liked his writing since the Smothers Brothers. So, I mean,
and I got to work with the Smothers Brothers for a very, very short time.
Really?
Oh, yeah, Tom and Dick were great. Like even in the middle of like the writing room, they just stop and start doing their bit, and it's like just throw off the whole day.
Well, I think they were the only other white guys to ever participate in some skits for In Living Color. So
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they were. They did the.
Wait a minute, I don't remember that. When did they do that?
The Brothers skit. That's Tom and Dick doing the singing voices.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
no shit.
Yeah.
All right, I got to go back and watch that. I had no idea.
So
I loved In Living Color. I watched that.
Whenever
shit
they
out of
would
that
do
show.
the Brothers skit, whenever they sang, of course, the two guys doing it aren't singing. Well, that's Tommy and Dickie Smothers. They got the
I had
joke.
no
They signed up to do
idea.
it and thought it was the funniest thing.
Now, this I always get this name wrong, but it's one of the guys from the Smothers Brothers sketch. I think it's David Steinbrenner.
Yeah.
Oh, love David.
Who did the brilliant religious, the Bible jokes
to
the point where they'd almost get the show kicked off the network.
I know, and it was Tommy Smothers, I think, was the one that gave the money to the Raimi brothers. He gave them the money that eventually went into them making Evil Dead.
Oh, he was one of like the 20-odd people that did it because they went to their family, the dentist, everybody was like, "Do you have money you want to burn?" Like, what? Like, we're making a movie. We just need some financing.
Yeah, I think he cut him a check for $500,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it was David Steinberg.
It is David Steinberg. Okay, yeah.
I always enjoyed him when he came on Saturday Night Live. The first time I saw a photo of him, I thought he was Kreskin because he looked so much like Kreskin to me. And then he came out to do the stem. I'm like, that's the guy I thought was Kreskin. And he did stand up, and I'm like, oh shit, he's a comedian. Kreskin's a comedian. No, it's a different person, Gary.
I loved his voice burning bush joke where he's like, and the bush burned, and the man took 2 steps closer, and he, ow, burnt my feet. And then he heard a voice, that's another one.
I like that story, that anecdote that you told about the brothers trying to finance Evil Dead, because it reminds me also to George Harrison, from the Beatles, financing Life of Brian, which is my favorite Monty Python film, hands down.
And also Time Bandits, dude.
And also Time Bandits, yeah. But talking about the Monty Python films, that one is my favorite, hands down. And I remember how he said that it was the most expensive movie ticket because he really wanted to watch that movie, and he was right. Really cool film.
I think it was Pink Floyd that financed.
They financed their previous film that was Holy Grail.
Holy Grail, yeah.
Alongside Led Zeppelin as well.
Yep.
Along with the Zepp.
And I love that movie. Did he say, blessed are the cheesemakers? Shut up, big nose.
Blessed are the meek. Don't pick on your nose.
All right, we've derailed. It's time to go. I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming tonight. Let me go over the list. God, we had a lot of people tonight. Of course, Das Wolfen, LDG of Geeks and Joy. Then, of course, Fat Steven dropped in. Tim Possible, our good friend. Zacharot 315, my old childhood friend, teen friend. We became friends as teens. Charlie Bruce dropped in. I was glad to see him. Our good friend through Twitter, Jason Knight. And then, of course, Awesome One showed up. And Parrot Head. I love when Parrot Head sends me the best shit on Twitter. I fucking laugh at all of the stuff he sends me. And let's see. Script Doctor showed up. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Get rid of him.
And, of course, our good friend, Martin Acosta Santana. I love 3 named people. That's awesome.
I'd also like to shout out to my middle son. Thank you for coming.
Oh, yes. Thanks for watching. He didn't chat. Why didn't he chat? Six
He
was
chatted.
here. Hi, Six.
He chatted. He's on there.
And then, of course, Kylock showed up too. Which one is his? Which one is he in the chat?
Oh, my son?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the last time Zach talked, he's just above Zach's. So
Marubius Ledford?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Is
cool
that your okay? Then of course Script Trooper showed up late too. And I don't know if you heard me, Kylock, of course, because that was while you were saying something. I said his name. I want to make sure it's said. We're always concerned about his health. Please be well, all of you, but especially Kylock. And glad you're here, awesome one. I enjoy reading your stuff, even though you spelled sci-fi wrong. Grammar, man. It's about grammar. Motherfucker. Awesome one. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Script Doctor, I'm so glad you can make it to the show. Viking, I'm glad you're here, sort of.
Bring your
I'm always
dictionary
glad
so
when
you
you're
can
here.
be happier.
I don't know what he said. I need those subtitles for him all the time. I just don't get it. And Zach, thanks for directing this episode. You're awesome. And with that, I guess we will do our fond farewell the traditional way.
Goodbye, Chocolate Mousse. I'll never forget you. Goodbye, Ducroix. Take care of yourself. Goodbye, Deja Vu. I'll always remember you. And I'll miss you most of all, Scarecrow.
Wow. That's still, I still cannot believe how many people have never seen that movie.
Top Secret's great.
I know. But
And Gerry froze and he didn't end the stream.
He didn't end it.
We're still going.
Black guy stuff, huh?
every single time.
That was awesome.
It got me through college. And when people, I remember meeting this girl. Her name was Nova. And loved her, loved working with her. One night, she decided she was going to try to intimidate me. And she only came up to about here, like the top of her head.
Oh, so she was tall because you're a giant.
I am not that tall. But she, I think I had been complaining about schoolwork and how everything was going, and she just turned around and was like, well, I'm a white blah 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 lesbian who da 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 da. I said, that's good to know.